That was
Oh, you know what? Let's begin. What I'd like everyone to do, so they know where we are and what we bring to the demonstration is quickly, please. We'll come back to you. Okay? Just quickly, your level of injury for those, or your diagnostic for you, and how long you've been injured. So there you get an idea of our sort of diversity in the population here. Please, your level of injury and your.
32 years.
And maybe your name just so.
Oh, of course, your name. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much.
That's
Why
right.
you Robert?
Thank you.
37, 32 years.
Jerome, T4, 30.
Persona, C6, 18.
Mike, T6, 1 year.
Moving on to you, Liz.
Liz?
I'm Will.
Liz,
He's not going to be needing it. So.
T3, 30 years.
Hilda, I'm T11, T10, T11, 13 years.
T6 Mark, 30 years.
And I'm wrong.
Antoinette, MS, 18 years.
John Figueroa, I've heard T8, T10, I've heard 1, T12, O2. I've heard
I don't see T12, so
I
that
don't
may
know.
be an experiment. And how long since you've been?
13 years.
Thank you. And
¿Cuánto dijo?
13.
13.
yeah. Your name
Oh, Vladimir Navarrete.
and your level of injury? Spinal cord.
Oh no, some shot me in my
Yes.
head.
Uh-huh.
And that's what got the
Okay, so I'm sorry, I thought you were spinal cord. So we will go with DBI. I'll clarify so that we can talk with spinal cord. And we'll finish off with you.
Graciela, T89, 31.
31 years. So that's our participants for today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wait, Anijan, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Brittany. I'm a physical therapist. I've been a physical therapist for 5 years. Primarily, my clinical career has been at Kessler with inpatient rehab for brain injury, spinal cord injury, and patients post-stroke. I've now been with Wondercraft for 1 year, and I'm excited to be here in New York with all of you.
Thank you, be glad to have you.
My name is Jean. I'm a physical therapist. They laugh because in France we go. My name is Jeanne, but none of Americans understand the word Jeanne, and all call me Jean. That's why. So I'm a PT since 2016. I used to have my private practice in Paris, where I was specialized in neurological disease, so a lot of stroke, MS, and spinal cord injury. And I joined Wondercraft in 2021, where we create a walking center into the company. And so I did a lot of walking sessions with the exoskeleton. And since February, I'm in New York right now, and we're trying to do the same in Europe, try the most as we can that everybody could get in the exo and walk again. It's our aim.
And so I'm Matthew. Actually, I'm Matthew. Same as you. And I'm the founder of Wondercraft. I've been in New York since November last year, and it was quite a journey to come here. So it all started 10 years ago when we created a company with one of my friends, Nicolas Simon, whose family, in whose family there is a neurodegenerative disease which is called Charcot-Marie-Tooth. And so people slowly lose the ability to walk, and at some point they need to use a wheelchair. And some people have that, and some other do not in his family. And he does not, but his brother does. And he's always known that his big brother, who he used to play with, to wrestle with, play tennis, sports, mostly fights though, but he's always known that at some point he would not be able to play tennis with him, or not be able to fight with him. And he's always wanted to create a solution for his brother and all the other persons. And so we both attended engineering school in France, and when we were close to graduation, he just suggested that we make a company or create a company that would try to make something for every person that wanted to get up again and wanted to move. So the company was created in 2012. So we are now 10 years old, and we started with nothing, just out of school, no IP, no technology, no nothing. But what we thought was that with the right approach, we could bring something to people who needed more mobility. And so we try to think of the best algorithms to get people upright and walking again. And that's what we've been doing for the last 10 years, trying to improve the algorithms, the performance, the reliability, and to put that into a hardware that would be able to implement those kind of algorithms. Because walking, being upright, it's all about physics, and it's all about how you are going to move your feet, with what strength, what position. So it's, when you look at it from with a bit of perspective, it's basically mathematics, and it's a mathematical problem that you can try to solve as best as possible. So in 2016, 2017, we had our first prototype. So it was already 5 years at least since we had started the company. We had our first prototype, and we decided to try it. So we offered some patients to get inside the device, and so after 5 years, at last we had a first patient use what we've been building for all those years. And it was very, very emotional because it was a woman, she was called Françoise, and she hadn't been up for, I think, at least a couple years. She had tried other exoskeletons before, but when she got up with our product, it was very, very emotional, both for her and for us. And from that point on, we kept on improving the device and make it more and more useful, I would say. And because the first time, this is the only thing we were able to do with Françoise, just get her up, and that was it. But then as time went by and learning from patients and working with therapists as well, we were able to improve the device quite a lot and to get it approved in Europe in 2019. So that was already some time ago. And once it got approved in Europe, we started discussing it with medical teams, physios, doctors, neurologists, and that was the second wave of improvement that we got. They really pushed us to make the best device possible. And during that period, so physiotherapists, doctors, they would tell us, okay, the device is interesting, but it's not good enough for me to really put in my hospital yet. But we had a lot of patients that would still come to us and tell us, I just want to stand up, I just want to walk. And at the beginning, we would tell them, you can get to that hospital who has the device, or you can go to, and they would tell us, I don't want to go to a hospital, I want to get up and I want to walk. So that's at that point in time that we designed this idea of Walk Center, and John was a big part of it, where we would just have people come to our offices, have a dedicated space to get them in the device, up and walking, and they would do weekly sessions with us. And it started very small, like 1 or 2 persons, people who had a strong motivation, and like word of mouth really spread the thing, and now we have 25, I think, something like that, persons that come weekly, and most of them, they wouldn't miss their weekly session for anything. And so we have a huge waiting line, I would say, to have a slot. And so I would say we have some experience in what it can bring to people to walk weekly. And that's what the company was created for at the beginning, to allow people to get up and walk again. And so in parallel of that, the device really got a whole lot better. And at some point we saw like medical teams who would, at the beginning they would give us a lot of advice on what they needed from us to improve the device, and now they were coming to us like, what I need from you is your device, so I want to bring it to my patients. And so that's when we decided to start our US adventure. And so we started working with the FDA, the regulatory body here, to get the device cleared. And sometime in 2022, I would say in the summer, things felt pretty good FDA wise. So I decided to relocate here in New York. So it was kind of big move because New York is a very big city, and I had to bring my wife and my daughter and my son to a place where they don't speak the language. So it was kind of an adventure and a good one. And so I've been there since November last year. Actually, I arrived for Halloween, so the 29th of October. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, the first day we arrived, it was Halloween, and they were like, so it was great.
That's kind of wild.
We went out to the streets, and I was like, what is this country? Because in France, we don't do that.
Right.
We don't go door to door, and so have all the people and all the houses that had amazing decorations. Yeah, that was super cool. Anyway, 1 month later, we got the clearance from the FDA for the stroke indication. We are going to go for more indications very soon, because in Europe we are cleared for so many different things.
Could you tell me which indications the FDA approved for?
Yeah, stroke.
Specifically?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And since then, we've been very intent on making new partnerships, trying to find ways to get the technology to the people who may want or need it. And that's why we're here today. Yes. So we're happy to get all your feedback. We have the device here. We can present it to you, show you how it works. Both Brittany and Jan are very, very experienced with the device. So, yeah.
Question, has any of you participants used an EXO system before? I'm looking at you. No.
No, Mark.
You have. Coming back to you in a second, Mark. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. There are different EXO systems around. Some are better for some, some are not so good for some. And so, when did you do this? That was the where at the Bronx VA, and when? Roughly 2016, 17, around 16, 17, and have you done it since then? Okay. So there was a particular program and figure that you were able to enroll in, and you were able to do some use. How long do you do this for? 1 session, 5 sessions, 20 sessions, 5 weeks, 6 months? About 4 months, right? Once a week? Whoa, that's a lot. Excellent.
How many weeks?
3 times a week for 4 months, that program. And the question is, does that program still exist? So the Bronx VA, I definitely know that they have the EXO, I'm not too sure which system they have at Mount Sinai, and there's been opportunities with the Sinai system, with their system. Yes.
I went to Mount Sinai for a program that I was over with. So I don't know if the improvement that you made.
That's a very good question.
I don't know if the improvement that you made was capable for people that, you know.
Okay, so we have a range of physical characteristics that can fit inside the EXO, and if we're talking about weight, we can go up to 220 pounds. So depending.
So 220 is the max weight that these devices. Just like all mechanical things, there is an upper weight limit. And is there a goal to increase that?
Yeah, ideally we'd like to go to 250.
Yeah, 250 is pretty standard for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our goal ultimately, but it takes both time and testing and.
What about the height?
Yes. Well, height, size of the person. Let's talk about that first. Do you have any limitations on the height, size, tallness of the person?
Not the overall size of the person, because what really matters is the size of both that part of the leg and that part of the leg. So
your lower leg and the top
Yes.
leg, because that will determine where the machine hits you at
Yes.
the hip.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
important. So That's the important fact. It's
Yes.
not your overall height, it's just the length of your legs up to your pelvis. In terms of the level of injury, because as you can see, we're working with people with different levels of injury and also long-term injuries here as well.
Yeah.
Is there a limitation for the level issue?
Okay, maybe then we can do
Thank you
some.
very much.
Sure.
Jack, I can say Jack.
There you go. Not bad. It's not the best one. So technically, we tried the exoskeleton with different type of pathology and different high level of SCI patient,
Yeah.
and the maximum we did was C4. So and it went super well.
Wow.
So that was cool, and it was like Asia B. So
Asia.
practically complete SCI.
Right.
So
Right. For those of you, just to remind you, the difference in the Asia categories A, B, C, and D. In 30 seconds. A is where you don't have any sensation and no movement below where the problem begins, your level of injury. In Asia B, you have full sensation all the way down to the buttocks. In fact, that's Asia B, but there is no discernible movement below that level. So you have full sensation but no movement. It's Asia B. And Asia C, which is generally called incomplete, you have sensation below your level of injury. I can feel it, and I can move maybe this, I can move that a little bit. It's quite weak. That's Asia C. Asia D is the same idea, where you have full sensation, because you got that at Asia B and everything below, B, C, and D. But at Asia D, we're now strong below the level of injury, and a lot of people with Asia D injuries can actually stand up and do some amount of walking in their household, even within the community, right? So most of you will be at this functional level. Mostly I'm seeing Asia Bs and Asia Cs. I don't think anybody is really Asia A anymore, because the medical guide care is much better now, so people don't end up with complete injuries. There's usually some preservation below the injury to Asia C or Asia B. So Asia B, C4 is really high.
yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Any other questions that you want to pose? And then I'll be looking for. Yes, Jerome.
The improvement that you made, was the machine walk up a curve, a step?
So we've done that with experimental version of the machine. On this one, we don't go upstairs or slopes. It's possible to do it, and we've managed to do it in our offices in an experimental setup, not in the version that is cleared by the FDA.
Because everything has to be cleared by the FDA. You're allowed to do this with this. From medications down to medical equipment. And so if the FDA does not give you permission to use the device in that manner, then you are in trouble if something goes wrong, especially.
Does the machine, is it on the market? I mean, have you ever sold any?
Yeah, quite a lot, especially since last 2021, 2022. In France, a lot of. So just to be clear, the machines, we sell them to hospitals, rehabilitation centers, some other smaller rehab institutions.
These are not for individual
Not
use at
individual,
all.
yeah.
This is not
buy
for
one
individual
locally.
use.
No, the FDA wouldn't do that yet. The FDA actually hasn't cleared any of these robotic systems for individual sale
Right.
for home use. No, they're
For
in
some,
institutions and.
for some devices they have authorized
they
that.
have.
Yeah, for
They're
remote,
out of the loop.
but
Not yours for now.
yeah, not ours, and we've not applied for it yet because we believe that's a device that would be useful at home, needs to be very, very good, and we don't believe the industry is there yet. That's what we are pushing for.
Okay.
We have a team of almost 100 people that work on that. But we want to make sure that any device that gets into patients' home is really, really, really good.
Very good. So
Now, the machine, when one uses it, as you have it now, just like a practice.
can we do it
No,
rather than just asking and answering?
no,
Let's
no
try and
individual.
do.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's try and do. Then you can have more questions and put the doing kind of questions. Okay. So anybody willing, wanting to get into the exercise? Yes.